The City of Boynton Beach City Commissioners meeting today, Tuesday, February 4th, 2020 at 5:30 p.m. Would everyone please rise for an invocation by Pastor Randy Patterson of Seacrest Presbyterian Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Ty Pensurga.
For the commissioners and all of the city employees and for the members and citizens of Boynton Beach, we want you to know we pray for you not just at the city commission meetings, but you're in our prayers daily in our congregation and as individuals. So let's go to the Lord our God in prayer. Almighty God, our Father in heaven, we ask that you would help us tonight to be still and to know that you are God. We come to you in prayer asking for your blessing, your grace, your mercy to be given to our city. We ask your hand to be upon all of those who are involved in tonight's meeting. May you give to each one the right words to speak and to each of us ears to hear. Fill us with wisdom, humility, and insight as the members and the citizens deliberate and decide on matters of business, but also, Father, give them hearts of compassion as they consider the needs of the people of our city. You've blessed us so richly in resources and skilled individuals who fill our leadership positions, but we know that we need you. For in every matter, whether it's budgets or buildings, calendars, bids, resolutions, conflicts, or relationships, we need your presence, your power, your mercy, your forgiveness, your guidance if we're going to be the kind of city you want us to be. We pray for these men and women that make up our city commission, for Mayor Grant, for Vice Mayor Katz, for Commissioners McCrae and Romulus and Pensurga. We ask that you would give them a vision for what our city can be, help them to think big thoughts without losing sight of the small needs that exist. We pray for our first responders, for the police and fire departments. Thank you for those who put themselves on the line to aid and protect the citizens of Boynton Beach, keep them safe from harm. We thank you for each of our city employees, and we ask that you would bless their efforts as they carry out their responsibilities. And we thank you for the diversity of our city, and we pray that as this month is recognized as African American History Month, that it may serve to promote racial harmony and reconciliation in our neighborhoods. We ask that you would watch over the nearly 75,000 residents of our city. Bless and strengthen their homes and families that the children may be free to grow and live. We thank you for the businesses of our community, and we pray that you would establish them and that through them you might provide open doors of opportunity for those who are looking for jobs. And we pray for those who are in need, that you would work in the hearts of the residents of our city generosity to assist them, that the hungry would be fed, that the homeless would find shelter. And we pray for each of the churches of Boynton Beach. May you send a spiritual awakening in our community, that we may be a community that loves you, the true and living God, with all of our heart and soul and strength, and loves our neighbor as ourselves. We ask these things in Jesus' powerful name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Stephen B. Grant.
Here.
Vice Mayor Justin Katz. Commissioner Matt McCrae.
Here.
Commissioner Christina Romulus is absent. Commissioner Ty Pensurga.
Here.
Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Excuse me. Would everyone please remain quiet? We can hear you up here. Thank you. Any additions, deletions, or corrections to the agenda?
I have one.
Yes.
Mayor, I'd like to have added on this agenda for tonight, and that is the discussion of the shootings that's occurring here in this city, that we need to hear from the people that's supposed to be protecting us. We need to get a handle on what's going on. I need to hear from the police chief, the city manager, whoever can give me some direction, because we are losing funds. People don't want to come to Boynton businesses, so I need them to address that tonight. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Where would you like that to go? Under announcements or new business?
Announcements will be fine.
Okay. We'll put that as item H.
And I have one other, I'd like to say to the Reverend, he left. Well, he did.
No, he's here, right behind the podium.
Oh, hi. Anyway, I just want to say thank you for your prayer, but it's okay to use Black history. We're good. Instead of Afro-American. It's okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, I'd like to move item 6D into new business, as it was a future agenda item. I feel that when we have these future agenda items come up to our agenda, that they go either on new business or old business and not get put into consent. And then the other thing is that we had an item tabled from last meeting or 2 meetings ago regarding the Boynton Beach Mall, and for future, I'd like it to be put in the minutes, that tabling and all of those items, because it is still on the agenda as a tabled matter. Is that correct, Jim?
That's fine. We would maybe place it in the same place that it was originally noted, and I'll comment about it being tabled. So had it been a legal item, it would be there. Had it been new business, it would have been there.
All right.
You need to track it in the same category.
Thank you.
Mayor, I'm sorry, but the first item that you mentioned, I was signing my name over and doing some business with the city.
Yeah.
What was it?
It was 60, the proposed resolution number 20-013, adopting a Vision Zero. We had that on our future agenda items, and so now it's brought before us, and I believe we do have a presentation.
Thank you.
All right. Is there any additions or is there any further additions, deletions, or corrections to the agenda? Seeing none, may I have a motion to approve as amended?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion passes unanimously. Any informational items from the commission? I'll start off with, on January 22nd, I attended the League of Cities meeting up in Palm Beach Gardens and attended a meeting for the Boynton Intracoastal Group. On the 23rd, I attended the Palm Trans Service Board and also did a ribbon cutting over at the Boulevard Rehabilitation just south of the Boynton Beach Mall for their new facility of in-house dialysis. On the 24th, I attended Rock the Plaza. On the 25th, I attended our Oceanfront Park, and I want to commend our Parks and Recs department. It's a great event. I'm excited that we still have one more for this non-sea turtle season, and I think we need some more balls or frisbees, if that's possible. Also, I attended the grand opening of the South Florida Marine's new property. Commend the commission and the board of the CRA for helping remove slum and blight and making sure that we are doing our part to make a better Boynton Beach. On the 27th to 29th, I attended the Florida Public Pension Trustees Association's conference as my role as chairperson of the General Employees Public Pension. On the 30th, I attended the Boynton Beach Veterans Task Force meeting. And then on February 2nd, I handed a citation to Louis Proctor, who turned 103 years old. And I'm happy to give a citation to a person and their family who's turning 100 and older. I attended the Four Chaplains ceremony, and I want to thank First Presbyterian for allowing us to use their facility and all of their and all those days that we were able to use the facility. They've really been a great community partner in the Boynton Beach in our time of transition. Had a great time watching the Super Bowl. Glad the Chiefs won. And it was a palindrome day. Next, on Monday, the February 3rd, I met with Quantum Foundation and attended the Coalition of Clergy's Forum for District 2. Commissioner Pensurga?
I have no disclosures. Thank you.
Commissioner McCray?
Thank you. I have no disclosure, but on Wednesday morning at 8:30, I met at Point Santa Elementary School to give a citation to Bryson, who was the Saturday morning weather child about 2 weeks ago. And to my unbeknown, his mother was Florence McCray, no relation. And I just had to reach out to him because I'm just saying there's young people like that we need to encourage when they're up doing things. And I'm just saying his grandmother was there. His great-grandmother, Mrs. McCray, has expired, but I'm just saying, these are people that we need to encourage when we see them on TV and tell them that we are behind them 100%. Although he did call Belvedere, Florida, instead of talking about Belgrade. And I commended him. I said, you did just what a normal person would do when they're speaking. You kept on speaking. You did not go back to try to correct it. And for that, I'm just totally grateful. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Katz?
Nothing to disclose except that I'll miss the CRA meeting next week while I'm in Tallahassee lobbying on behalf of the teachers union.
Any more good news?
All right. Seeing no more informational items by members of the City Commission, we're moving on to announcements 3A, announcement by Assistant Recreation and Parks Director Casey Young about Oceanfront Park, which will be held at Oceanfront Park on Saturday, February 22nd from 9 a.m. to 12 noon.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Casey Young, Recreation and Parks Assistant Director. I'm here to announce Oceanfront Park, February 22nd from 9 a.m. to noon at Oceanfront Park. We want to invite all well-behaved dogs and their owners to join us on the south end of the beach, where dogs will be allowed off-leash in a designated area to enjoy the sand and the ocean. This is the last of this series. Oceanfront parking will be free during the event. If you enjoy the beach and own a dog, join us on Saturday, February 22nd. Thanks.
Thank you. Next is a proclamation for February 11th to the 17th, 2020 as 211 Awareness Week. Patrice will step in. Will accept the proclamation. City of Boynton Beach Proclamation. Whereas many times people need help in meeting life's basic needs, and whereas they may experience times of crisis and are not sure where to turn, 211 Helpline is that central access point providing people of all walks of life the guidance and support they need. And whereas with nearly 4,500 requests for help from Boynton Beach residents last year, calls to 211 are free, confidential, 24/7, with text messaging and online chat also available. Whereas 211 also helps specialized advocacy and support programs that include the Special Needs Helpline, Help Me Grow, Catching Children's Development Delays Early, Elder Crisis Outreach. And whereas 211's life-saving Sunshine Daily Telephone Reassurance Call continue to brighten the lives of local seniors. And whereas 211's newest program, My Florida Veterans, provides peer-to-peer support and help to readjust, provide linkages to services for veterans and their families. Now therefore, I, Stephen B. Grant, Mayor of the City of Boynton Beach, hereby proclaim February 11th to the 17th, 2020 as 211 Awareness Week in the City of Boynton Beach, and urge all citizens to be aware that if they are overwhelmed or in a crisis or just need to talk, 211 is available any time of any day or night. 211 staff can also provide referrals for mental health counseling, substance abuse, health care, employment, food assistance, daycare, support groups, volunteering, VITA free income tax preparation, and so much more. Would you like to say a few words?
Again, my apologies, Sharon LaRue. She could not make it this evening, so I will be taking her place. Again, my name is Patrice Schroeder. I'm Community Relations Specialist for 211 Helpline. I'm going into my 14th year with this agency. But just to give you the heads up, this agency is in its 49th year of service to the residents of Palm Beach County, which means next year will be the 50th anniversary of 211. Some of you know our history as the Center for Crisis Services. Back in the day, we were also a substance abuse help hotline. But more than that, we're not just here to help people connect to services. We also have resources and programs that I'll talk about in just a quick minute. But I wanted to let you know that the residents, we mentioned the 45,000 residents that reached out for help here locally, and that's out of the Palm Beach County number, which was 48,354 individuals that reach out to 211 helpline for assistance. So just to give you a kind of brief synopsis of what the calls from Boynton Beach were, out of that 4,500, over 1,500 were related to housing, people looking for affordable housing or people that may have been struggling or may have been homeless. We also had the next highest category, 1,300 calls and contacts regarding mental health and addictions. And in the broader picture last year, out of the over 88,000 calls we took for our total service area, we actually answered over 3,700 suicide-related calls. But here locally, we're looking at 1,300 mental health calls and addictions. The next highest category for Boynton Beach, people were looking for utility assistance at 700 callers and contacts, and then health care over 639. But I could go down the list, but just to give you an idea that, 211 Awareness Week is just that. We don't have the big advertising dollars or budget to have a constant message out in the community, but we know there are so many more community members that need that connection to us so we can help them find services. There are a lot of resources in Palm Beach County, and our goal is to help them connect to those services. And I'm going to talk briefly about our programming. We do have some additional programs, and I gave you guys some cheat sheets in your little packet, so if you want to grab these and turn it over, you'll see that of the 200 plus calls we get every day, 10 are of crisis, but a lot of individuals are reaching out to our programs. Our Help Me Grow program is really the lead in the state of Florida. All the 211s are providing those growth and developmental screenings to catch growth developmental delays early with children, and also the behavioral health screenings. And I was really excited to hear that our 211 had done over 2,000 22 screenings last year. So that means catching those developmental delays early makes all the impact of the world for that success of those children. So I'm really proud of our staff there. We also have a special needs helpline, so if individuals have children with disabilities up to age 22, our counselor can help them find the services and be a supportive person for them to let them know they're not alone in this and that they can do this, and we can get them additional resources. Within our senior population, we have our Sunshine Daily telephone calls. If you know of an isolated, lonely elder, and I'm quite sure the fire and rescue gentlemen, if there are any in the room, they know of seniors that are always reaching out to have a conversation, we have our daily phone calls. We call roughly 560 seniors throughout our 5-county area to make sure that they're okay and that somebody cares about them. For some, this is the only outside call that they're getting. So it's just really important. And we save lives with that program, because if we don't hear from them, we will call their backup list. If that person doesn't know the whereabouts of that individual or the well-being, we have law enforcement do a welfare check. And we've had elders that had fallen in the night. One lady, older story, she was laying in her bathtub for 17 hours, but she knew that we were going to call her. So it is a life-saving program. We also have our newest program. I heard that you guys have a Veterans Coalition meeting here in Boynton Beach. We have our My Florida Veterans program. The gentlemen, we have 2 peer-to-peer counselors, so they are combat veterans themselves, and with our My Florida grant, we're able to do that closer one-on-one piece with those veterans and their families, helping them to link to services and helping the veterans readjust, because we know that it really is that conversation with somebody that knows what you've been through, particularly with veterans. It's so important. And we want to prevent the suicides as well, because, we're still at, some stats show 20 a day, some show 22 a day, but even 1 a day is way too much. So we want to really let the veterans in our community, the males and females, know that we're here to serve them and that we can help link them to VA programs and other community partners that are providing assistance to veterans. I just really want to also let you know that we are doing a lot of things in the county. We're answering the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, and locally we also answer the Victim Services line. So there's a lot going on at 211, and I just really need your help in the audience and our council members. I want to thank you so much for your support, but really getting that word out is just so crucial, because we know whether it's a professional that's struggling and in a tight situation mentally and emotionally, first responders, it could be nurses, other caregivers, and all of us are in a capacity of caregiving, and there's so much coming at us. I want to make sure that we all take a few minutes to take care of ourselves and take care of our constituents. But I want to thank you. I'm going to leave now, and I am grateful for the opportunity to have spoken to you tonight.
Patrice, quick question regarding the Florida Sunshine
Yes.
calls. Do you ever reach out to individuals that are in assisted living facilities?
Well, generally, the point of our 2 senior programs are to keep individuals in their homes. So between the Sunshine and the Elder Crisis Outreach Program, we encourage and bring resources to those seniors. So if they're in an assisted living facility, they should be having a case manager and care throughout the day.
And that's the concern that I have, is that if they have no other outside person looking in and they only have that one case manager, just so that people, because we've had issues here in Boynton Beach before, and so that's something that I'd like to see.
That'd be a greater conversation, because I think the capacity that we have, we really want to try to keep seniors in their home, but I think that's a great conversation to have with Sharon as well, so to see if we can expand that a little bit to also include, because any senior sitting alone someplace is just too many seniors sitting alone.
Commissioner McCray.
Thank you. I want to tell you personally, thank you for having the 211 where you do the elder call.
Yes.
The reason I'm saying thank you is that I'm a funeral director, and just last month we had a young lady who was demised. I'm just saying, for 5 days. Family did not know what happened to her. I'm just saying, if they had somebody calling her, that family, and the family now is grieving, they said, I wish I'd have had more time. Somebody would have notified us or something like that. And I watch grown men sit up and boo-hoo crying, saying, I can't look at my mom like that. So I'm just saying, it's a needed thing that you all are doing. People need to be more aware
Right.
of how you all help us. I'm just saying, the people that's in the funeral business, by letting other family members know that, somebody need to check on this person. And that's the most important thing, is to stay in contact with those elders when they're in their homes.
And that individual, if it's a younger person, generally we're looking at seniors that are 60 and over, but we can take younger individuals. It could be a veteran that's housebound, or somebody else that has a disability that can't get out that's a little younger than that. So it doesn't have to be a senior per se. But I mean, and they can still have the life alert buttons too. It's just one more layer, one more safety net. And these seniors, to know that somebody cares, they're constantly telling them that they're so thankful, they bless us, they're just so grateful that somebody is reaching out to them every day. And also, I encourage caregivers. If it's an individual that has a spouse that's incapacitated, I encourage them to sign up. Even though they may be healthy, it could be anything that could happen, and God forbid they have a heart attack and that individual that they're caregiving is bedridden or something of that nature. We want to make sure that they're looked in it as well, because it's just a kind of, again, that safety net.
Thank you.
Any other questions from anybody?
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Our next proclamation is for Friday, February 7th, 2020, is Robert E. Wells Day. Minister Bernard Wright will accept the proclamation. City of Boynton Beach Proclamation. Whereas Mr. Robert E. Wells, a merchant sailor from Cat Island in the Bahamas, settled in Boynton in 1890, where he and his wife Elizabeth raised one son, Harry. Whereas in 1892, Robert and Elizabeth Wells helped found St. Paul's African Methodist Episcopal Church. Officially established in 1900, St. Paul's AME is the oldest church in the city. Whereas in 1896, Mr. Wells and other members of St. Paul's AME successfully petitioned Dade County School Board to provide a school for Boynton's black African-American children, originally called Boynton Colored School. It later became known as Point Siena Elementary. Whereas, on April 14, 1920, Mr. Wells was the signatory of the document incorporating Boynton as a town. However, the land owned by him and the rest of the historic heart of Boynton was not recognized in the incorporation and was called Boynton Colored Town. Whereas in 1925, Mr. Wells platted the Robert Wells subdivision. He built the main thoroughfare in the historic heart of Boynton called Wells Avenue, now known as Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, and built a home at number 416. In addition to selling land and building houses, Mr. Wells donated lots to those in need, including St. Paul's AME for the building of a church. In time, Wells Avenue became a thriving downtown area for the black African-American community. Now, therefore, I, Stephen B. Grant, Mayor of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, do hereby proclaim the 7th of February, 2020 as Robert E. Wells Day.
Good evening. God bless everyone inside of here. Let me pay honors to all of those on the dais in their respective person and capacity. Thank you for a good and great job you have been doing in spite of whatever difference we have, but it's all politics. I'm coming to understand. As a current candidate for District 2 City Commissioner, my name is Minister Bernard Wright. This was my great-grandfather we were talking about and having to do with honoring our history, which God used me sometime back about 8-9 years ago to initiate this historic research project that we have going on in Boynton that has given us great favor with the legislature, honor us in this respect. And if you have family here with some records and some documents and it has something to do with the establishment and growth of this town, then I would like for you to submit them to the Historic Research Preservation Board, and you will be added on the website and part of this great, wonderful historic city. I would like to introduce Dr. Valcourt here, who is the assistant principal of Poinciana, by the grace of God, sitting as a voting member on the Student Advisory Council. I overlooked her last night, and she wasn't even honored because no one even know about her in that respect. But I just want to say, y'all have heard the history. I normally would give a narration because there's a lot of great things that my great-grandfather did that runs in my bloodline. And this is about a legacy, not just a family legacy, but a legacy of Boynton Beach in its entirety. And my great-grandfather being the leader of the Negro Civic League, seeing myself in the voters registration drive as a teenager, seeing my first cousin become the Black City Commissioner of this city, seeing history having been made. I mean, from the gutter, baby. There was nothing but marshland coming from Cat Island to build a city here. And at one point, this city was thriving with everything that we needed down Wells Avenue. That's what the street was called originally. From a pharmacy to gas stations to everything that we needed by the grace of God. So I want to see, and being an experience in this with some of the greatest celebrities coming to this city, with the Silas Green show, one of the greatest black shows back in this era, coming to this city. I want to see it again, and having that experience, I'm able from the bottom to see it to the top, that I know exactly where we are today. That I got to commend everybody who has participated in the growth and development of the city to this point, and being in partnership with the developers that are developing right now, Ocean Breeze East and Wells Landing coming in, and having completed the Sarah Sims Park with that amphitheater, me being instrumental in this. God bless you, and I want to say that I'm very honored to be here to receive this proclamation of my family and the legacy of this city, and we want to go forward. And I'm saying, before you vote coming up in this election, March 17, 2020, pray before you vote, and then look at the track record of what's been going on, not only in the last 8 years, but 20 years past, and further past, and then make your educated decision. God bless all of you, and I love you. Yes, from a spirit of the living God. Glory to God. Has nothing to do with emotion. Bless you.
Next, we recognize... Yes, Commissioner McCray, you have a question.
I'd like to say...
No, Mr. Wright, would you please come back to the podium?
No, it's not for Minister Wright. My comment is for the assistant principal from Poinciana Elementary School. I just want to tell you thank you for being here tonight. I do know you, and I wanted Mayor, while I'm here, is to have Sarah Williamson please stand. She was also an assistant principal of Poinsett Elementary School that you probably need to know. Mrs. Williams, will you stand and let her recognize your face, please? Ms. Sarah Williams.
Pardon me, Mayor, one other thing. February the 15th, we're having a Robbie Wells Love Fest, which we have annually. This will be the 6th annual one. And thank God that we've been able to put it on. It's becoming greater and greater. And I'm asking that all you all in the city of Boynton Beach, I mean, we are a diversified city. I'm seeing this city becoming diversified. I want you all to come. We want this event to be just as large as the MLK because this is our national holiday by the grace of God. We have history here that we need to continue to honor and see greater and better because we are operating in a prophetic spirit of better. God bless you again.
Ms. Williams, I just want you to meet the young lady on the second row. That's the AP from Poinsett Elementary School. Doctor, on the second row, meet the young lady that's on...
Well, Ms. Williams, do you have something to say to the audience?
Say what?
I'm the new assistant principal.
Okay, it's not my turn.
No.
This is not public comments yet.
Public comments. I just wanted you to meet her.
Almost. So before I announce the next proclamation, I recently finished a book regarding Ulysses S. Grant, and in that I learned about the first United States Senator of African American history, of lineage. And so that's kind of where I put this proclamation so that we have an opportunity to research all the African Americans that have made this country great. So City of Boynton Beach Proclamation. Whereas African American History Month affords an annual opportunity to become more knowledgeable of African American heritage and to honor the many African American leaders who have contributed to the progress of our nation. And whereas such knowledge can strengthen the insight of all of our citizens regarding the issues of human rights, the great strides that have been made in the crusade to eliminate the barriers of equality for minority groups, and the continuing struggle against racial discrimination and inequity. And whereas we recognize and acclaim the pivotal work of Hiram Rhodes Revels, the first African American appointed and seated as a U.S. Senator on February 25, 1870, from Mississippi. He was assigned to the Committee for Education and Labor and pursued to abolish segregation statutes, provided the necessary political capital to reinstate the elected African American legislators in Georgia, and sought amnesty to former Confederates who swore loyalty to the Union. And whereas Mr. Revels became the first president of the oldest historically black land grant institution, Alcorn University, to further his mission in education for African Americans. And whereas as we journey toward a more united nation, let us use the commemoration of African American History Month to serve as a reminder of the need for meaningful dialogue and shared commitment to actions that uplift and empower all. Now, therefore, I, Stephen B. Grant, Mayor of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, do recognize this month of February 2020 as African American History Month. And I urge residents to join together in this period of rededication of the principles of justice and equality for all people. Do we have anyone that would like to accept the proclamation? Yep.
I will accept it. Nobody else want to accept it? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. All right. Established.
I am Woodrow Hay, 427 Northwest 5th Avenue, Boynton Beach. I'm very honored to receive this proclamation for Black History Month. Just so happened to be my month of conducting services as an MC, so to speak, at St. John Missionary Baptist Church, where we're having quite a few presentations by our young people on Black History Month. It's something that we all can be proud of. Certain things were left out of the history books that we all need to know. So it's not just insight for us as African Americans, but it's for all of us to know the true story. So thank you for this proclamation, and I look forward to sharing information about the African American history. Thank you.
Next announcement is by Greater Boynton Beach Foundation Board Member Lori Wilkinson about the 5th Annual Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital Magic Wheels and Special Deals event on Thursday, February 6th, and the 8th Annual Barrier-Free 5K Run, Walk, and Roll on Saturday, February 8th.
That's it. I don't have to say anything more. That's all, right? Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Lori Wilkinson. I am a longtime original board member for the Greater Boynton Beach Foundation. I was its chair for a number of years, and right now I'm stepped back and I'm just a member, which is a good thing to be once in a while. But I am here, as I come every year, to welcome you and please invite you to come and participate in the two events that we have upcoming. Mayor Grant just mentioned on Thursday, this Thursday as in 2 days from now, the Magic Wheels and Special Deals event is coming up. That is a great opportunity for those of you in the audience, if you've not been. What an amazing event this is that's coming up at the Barrier-Free Park on Congress Avenue. Congress Avenue Barrier-Free Park. The cross street is Southwest 30th. It's right by WXEL. An amazing event where people of the greater Boynton area, even actually all over Palm Beach County, different organizations and businesses come together that either are run by or employ people or serve people with special needs. They are the vendors for this event. They are the special deals that are there. So for example, there's a place up in Jupiter called the Chocolate Spectrum. It's a chocolate shop, just like everybody would imagine, Hoffman's or whatever else, right? It's a chocolate shop run by people on the autism spectrum. They're one of our vendors there at the Magic Wheels event. The big night for them is the vending part, but the big night for a lot of us in the city is the revelation of the Magic Wheelchair, which has been a very tight secret this year. I don't even know anything about it, which is kind of different. I like to be in the know, just keep that in mind. The Magic Wheels is a set of wheels, I'm guessing, maybe a car, maybe a motorcycle, maybe a really fancy chair. We had a Princess carriage one year, we had a Camaro one year, we had a Lightning McQueen from Cars movie one year. The Magic Wheels are a set of wheels, a wheelchair for our honorary starter for the race. Okay, the Barrier-Free 5K takes place on Saturday. It begins at 7:30 in the morning, again at the park, and it runs through the beautiful community of Hunter's Run. So again, if you've not done the race before and you've never been in Hunter's Run, that place is like Fort Knox. You can't just get in there. This is your opportunity to go see what Hunter's Run looks like on the inside. They say it's bigger when you go in the door, kind of like the TARDIS on Doctor Who, right? So anyway, the race is Saturday. It begins at 7:30 in the morning. It's not just a run. It's actually billed as a run, walk, and roll. Bring your strollers, your wheelchairs, walk it if you must. And if you don't want to do a whole 5K, we have a 1-mile event. That's not very far. I feel like I walked a mile in here from the end of the parking lot. So seriously, it's not that far. Put on some walking shoes, come out and join us on Thursday for the Magic Wheels and Special Deals event. Check out the brand new wheelchair that the honorary starter will then lead the race on Saturday. And if you have any questions, I'm sure Wally Majors would be happy to tell you a little bit more about it, or you can ask me right now if you have any questions. Otherwise, we hope to see you there.
So I do have questions because I know that there's a lot more vendors.
Oh, a lot more. That was just an example. There are many.
And they are amazing vendors.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of want to share that with the public. Is it possible that you can get us that information so we can share all the different vendors
Absolutely.
on social media?
I don't see why not. I mean, I know some of them off the top of my head. I know the Gold Coast Down Syndrome Society will be there. Like I said, the Chocolate Spectrum will be there. I believe we have a whole, there you go. I say we have a whole list that we can share. Friends?
Hi. Just want to encourage everyone to go to the City of Boynton Beach website. That's boynton-beach.org/magic. And there is a link for every vendor that's going to be there that takes you to their Facebook page and will describe them.
Oh, wonderful.
Thank you.
Did you know that, Lori?
I got it.
Yeah.
I got it. That way I don't have to memorize them.
It's kind of that we're in our new downtown. We're not really building enough retail locations for everything. And so I always try to promote the marketplace economy so that you have people with low entries into economic development. And so this is one of those examples where we as a community can help the community because these are all local people that have these different wares to sell. And is the person that sells the homemade dog treats going to be there?
Probably, yep.
Okay.
He's nodding his head yes, yeah.
Yeah, they're great. And so that's kind of what I'm really looking forward to help support the community and see that new Magic Wheels.
Absolutely. And just so you know, there are 4 main entities that kind of put this together and have. This is our 8th year doing this. So it's a kind of a collaboration between the Realtors Association of the Palm Beaches, which is now including Broward and St. Lucie County. Obviously, the city of Boynton Beach is heavily involved, the Greater Boynton Beach Foundation, and the community of Hunters Run. So all 4 of those entities come together, and it really is a very, very special event. So we hope to see you there. And 7:30 is the start time on Saturday.
And 6 o'clock on Thursday?
6 o'clock on Thursday till 8 p.m. And that, for those of you that are already signed up, because you're overachievers and you're already ready to go, that's when the packet pickup is for the race. So come to the Magic Wheels event on Thursday, get your packet, your shirt, get yourself ready to go, warm up, and then we'll see you on Saturday morning.
All right, thank you.
Have a good one.
Next is early voting for the March 17, 2020 presidential preference primary and municipal election will begin on Saturday, March 7, 2020, and will continue through Sunday, March 15, 2020. The early voting hours are from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. daily at the Ezell Hester Community Center, located at 1901 North Seacrest Boulevard. A listing of early voting locations throughout Palm Beach County is available at the following website, pbcelections.org/voters/early voting. Our second to last announcement is the closed door session to be had at 6:30 p.m. or soon thereafter, immediately following the City Commission meeting in the conference room at Intracoastal Park Clubhouse to discuss the case of Renette Jean Baptiste on behalf of Kevin Jean Baptiste, a minor plaintiff, versus Jermaine Jones and the City of Boynton Beach defendants, case number in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Florida. Our last announcement is from our police chief regarding the shooting that happened this past weekend and things that we can do to help with the safety of our community. Yes, Commissioner Cray, would you like to begin?
Yes, before Chief speaks, this is something that is very, you can come on up to the mic, I'm just saying, you'll have to step back. It's very dear to the citizens in District 2, to the citizens of Boynton. Sir, I don't want to be the first one to go ahead and say, that I was the one that championed you. You coming to Boynton, I'm still championing you. But what's happening here in this city is like a black eye. I don't know how we can get a handle on it. Young people losing their lives. What happened up in Rivera, they said it stemmed from Boynton. Last night we got an email about another shooting and stuff, and I'm just saying, when people start seeing us on TV, Boynton, with negativity, this says businesses don't want to come to Boynton, families don't want to move to Boynton, and I'm just trying to figure out, what are you all doing to put a handle on this? How can we help? I'm just saying, because it's out of hand. About 5 years ago, my cousin appeared before this commissioner or commission before, and he said, what is happening here in Boynton is like the Wild Wild West. All we need is horses. And I hate to say, it's not funny, Chief, that you got a smile on your face. It sounds funny, but it's not funny, sir. I live just down from Cherry Hill, and what goes on when they be shooting by my house and going by my house and cars and stuff like that, sir, it's I don't want to believe what's going on. I'm just saying, my niece sits out there, my niece said, okay, Uncle Mac, you're the commissioner for this district. Here we go again. She's upset. People around me upset. And they're saying to me, Commissioner, you represent this district. What is going on? Please give me an answer so that I can go back and tell the citizens of District 2 and the citizens of Boynton, all of us, what is going on and how can we stop what is going on. It's out of control.
Michael Gregory, Police Chief. Thank you very much for the opportunity to address those concerns, Commissioner McCray. And I'll say I don't think it's a laugh matter. I don't think it's a joke. I think it's very serious. I take all these types of calls and these violent crimes that are happening in the city to heart, and they are serious matters. I smirked earlier only from the point that it's discouraging the amount of misinformation that gets characterized throughout the community. So again, I appreciate the opportunity to come here and be able to clarify what I can on the record, understanding that we are working an active homicide investigation. I'm limited to exactly how many details I can provide you tonight, but what I will share is that what's been in the public view, in the public record, is that we did have our first homicide of the year on January 31st, last Friday evening, and I'll tell you that was an incident that was related to two specific known parties. It was a targeted incident, not a random act of violence that came through our city. There was a conflict between subjects, and they took it out on each other specifically. As unfortunately was the case, the subject that was the target of that incident was with several other people, and those folks became victims of that aggression, the gunfire from the first subject in the first place. Sadly enough, later that night, there was a retaliation for what happened earlier in our city. And that's what led to that. So again, the folks that were shot at went back after the folks that they believed did the shooting. Again, two specific groups of people looking for each other and no one else, and taking their vengeance, their anger out using firearms in our city against those specific people that they were looking for. As it relates, there was another incident or two of shots fired between those parties looking for each other again over the weekend, and then I believe I emailed or text messaged you last night regarding another incident. That incident we've determined is not related to the first, and it's not an incident from Boynton Beach proper or our jurisdictional area. It was in the unincorporated area. It was part of something that was in the Palm Beach Sheriff's Office area of responsibility. They actually responded. We assisted the Palm Beach Sheriff's Office in their investigation of holding that crime scene for them, and they took that case. They're taking that homicide, and that will be their victim and case to work. We had another incident earlier that also was not ours. So, as I mentioned earlier, sometimes there's that misinformation that floats out there, whether it happened actually in Boynton or whether it happened in the unincorporated pockets around us. Folks think it's Boynton, and it's not always Boynton. But that's what they say, that's what they know. And for the average person who lives on across from, I don't want to name the area, but you know where it is that we talked about Monday night. They don't know what specific jurisdiction they may or may not be living in over in that particular area. It's all Boynton to them. But for us, unfortunately, what we're allowed to investigate, what we're allowed to address with our resources for this city, we can't take that into the unincorporated area and try to police it as well. It is the responsibility of other police organizations to do that. With regard to the incident that did happen on Friday night, and the shooting that did happen in our city, and the homicide that we will carry, the one for the year so far, we are actively working that case. We have increased our police presence in both neighborhoods where the first shooting happened, as well as the second one, which was the retaliation. We've been intervening with people who may know subjects, asking them to cooperate. We haven't got a lot of cooperation, but we continue to engage with them. We've done door-to-door checks, asking for anyone who has additional information, and we've also been canvassing for any video that may be in the area, as well as our other investigative techniques to gather evidence in this case to charge the suspects. We do have several individuals of interest that we're monitoring and keeping, trying to ensure that no further violence occurs. But at this point, that's as far as I want to really get into the weeds of that particular case. I'll say again, not all these incidents that people say on social media or in the neighborhood are happening in Boynton. The ones that do, we handle, we get on top of, we increase our presence out there. In fact, I was just talking to a member in the audience about an incident that, a couple of incidents that they heard of. We've seen in the last 3 weeks, on 2 different occasions, someone's called in shots fired in the neighborhood. Because of the increase in police presence we've put in these areas that are at risk, we've had officers right there in that area when the call came out. The officer didn't hear any shots fired. They didn't see any. They drove that area. They didn't find any shell casings, any bullets. They didn't have anyone come forward and say, I'm the one who heard it and saw it, and this is who the shooters were. So whether there is some that find it of value for some reason to make these types of false reports, I can't speak to that. But I know that we do respond. And I know that we've increased our presence in the community, increased our safety level for everyone who lives and sleeps and can't leave at the end of the day. They go there to stay home. and we want to protect it and put our officers out there and show them that we're looking out for their safety every single night. What else they can do, we encourage them if they suspect some sort of illegal activity happening next door, if they suspect that some kids down the street or some adults in the neighborhood are seen carrying firearms or shooting off firearms, please let us know. Report that. Don't stay behind the curtain and try to be silent. People can report confidentially. We post it often on our social media sites, as we do advertise as well with Crime Stoppers. If people want to report incidents anonymously and stay silent, as long as we get those details, we can follow up on them. But if there's only one person who saw it and they don't say anything, then we don't know until it gets reported. So thank you again for letting me be able to address this. There is some misinformation that's floating around there, but I'm not letting that take away from the fact that we had a homicide on Friday night. And we're working as hard as we can to get that solved and closed out as quickly as possible.
All right. Commissioner McCray, you have a follow-up?
Yes, sir. Chief, you made mention about it. A couple happened in the unincorporated areas of Boynton, sir, but I'm going to go ahead and say what I need to say. It's still Boynton. People from the unincorporated areas spend money in the incorporated areas of Boynton. When people are scared to come from the unincorporated areas into this city, we are losing money. When families don't want to move into Boynton, we are losing money. Our tax base is not what it should be. I'm glad you said that you all are doing all you can, but I'm going to be the first one to say, I think you all need to do a little more, sir, please. Thank you.
I'm sorry, are you saying in the unincorporated area we should be doing more?
I said the unincorporated area, I know you might not have control, but it still has a tag of Boynton. Follow me. People from the unincorporated areas visit the incorporated areas to spend money. Although we have the unincorporated areas, we do service certain areas that's in the unincorporated areas with sewer, water. I'm just saying, I'm just telling you all, I'm not trying to beat up on the police department, but you all need to kind of step up your game plan. I'm just saying, what I'm hearing every night, it's not nice. I don't enjoy what I'm hearing.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Commissioner Pensurga.
Chief, thank you for all your hard work. From our previous conversations, they tend to be about trends and patterns. With everything else in mind, recent events, could you talk about what the trends are? Are these a series of isolated events, or is there a larger trend that we should be concerned about?
These are definitely a series of isolated events where time and opportunity have come together to create a nexus and a perfect storm for people to grieve whatever sort of vendetta they have on each other. There's a high prevalence of firearms available, and that's the tool of choice. As you've noticed, we've had mostly firearm-related aggravated batteries and homicides.
All right. The comment that I have is that I know that I received the calendar invite for February 29th, the opening of our community policing location on Federal Highway. And one of the things that, this is not new, we've had these shootings. I remember 3 years ago when 5 people got shot a few hundred feet from my house. And one of the things that I did is that I tried to rally the community around me. And I think when we got the red light cameras back in Boynton Beach, we helped reduce the crime as shown in the correlation of the statistics. But whether this is isolated or not, this has been going on for too long. And what we need to do as a city, as a community, as a commission, is to put some resources to get the community more involved. Last meeting, we had some people from Gulfview Harbor in our southwest communities saying that the roads aren't safe. Chief, how many people have died since you've been here on the roads for the year and a half? Do you have that number? Do you think it's...
I can get that for you.
But do you believe it's more than 5? Or around 5?
Probably around 5.
Okay. And it's too many.
It's way too many. And that doesn't count the serious bodily injury cases that, fortunately for the quality surgeons they have at the Delray Beach Trauma Center, they're able to save those lives.
And so that's something that I'd like to put on future agenda, if we are okay to do it now, to speak about whether we have a community safety task force that encompasses not just police, but our roads as well. because we are looking to do a Vision Zero. And now that we have a policy to not have any road deaths, or hopefully not have any road deaths, we haven't voted on it yet, that we can work together with the community, because the city, the police, the fire, we're not going to do it on our own. We need everyone working together. So the commission will allow for discussion at the next commission meeting to discuss whether it be a task force or advisory board regarding the safety of our residents.
It's fine with me.
It's fine with me as well.
All right.
I have one other comment for the chief, and that is, since we're building the new police department, well, we have spot, whatever they call them, spot checkers, or whatever when they shot, what did you call it?
Shot spotter?
Well, that's why I don't know, but anyway, them things, well, we're going to have that in place. I'm just saying, since we're going, high tech over there, I'm just saying, will we have that?
I will be endeavoring to pursue a budget request for that device.
Do we have it already budgeted then?
No, we do not.
Let me ask it another way then, since we don't have it budgeted. I'm just saying, it seems like every city is getting this except, Boynton, and you attend all these meetings and stuff, and you know that these are things that will enhance the safety of the citizens. I'm just saying, I thought this should have been something that should have been brought to the forefront, saying, this is something that we need to get here in the city of Boynton. And I'm just saying, although I'm coming off of the dais, I'm just saying this is something that you all need to be working on. I'm just saying, this is something that really is helping other cities, and it needs to be in place in this city.
I don't disagree, Commissioner. I do recognize that we have a gap to try to fill when it comes to some of these technologies and improvements to try to bring in the city, but I also recognize that that technology is useless without the people to utilize it. So as we evaluated budget requests last year with senior staff in the city, we looked at what we can accomplish in a short time, and one of the highest priorities were getting those extra staff, and I sincerely appreciate this commission supporting our budget request for the extra officer position and the CSO position. This year we'll follow up to try to do the shot spotter technology and some other things that we think will help us get a better handle on the crime, and particularly the violent crime, and the year after that. So it won't be a one-year zillion-dollar approach. It'll be something that we strategically look at over a series of years and sequence out what we can afford and budget within the constraints of our tax base, and what we can operate with the staff that we have on board.
Thank you.
Yes, Vice Mayor.
Yeah, and I'm not disagreeing with anyone's sentiment. Obviously, anytime I get a text or a message from the city, or I see in the newspaper or online that there's a shooting in Boynton Beach, I cringe, not just because obviously somebody has either been injured or killed or shot at, but also because of the stigma that it brings to the city. But I just want to cut some slack to the broader law enforcement community, that even if they do the best job in the world, in 2020, anyone who believes the resolution to a problem they have is to pick up a gun and try to murder another human being, those individuals are beyond control. That's the definition of beyond control, is the willingness to murder another human being. So we need to do everything we can, and as the mayor pointed out, the technology, the license plate readers, the red light cameras, which act as an ability to see what happened at a given intersection when a crime occurs. These are great additions. Increasing the police force, another great move, that we have to always consider. We do have a stellar clearance rate in this city. I believe our police officers, they can't prevent someone from shooting someone or shooting at someone, but they can do good police work, find out who did that, and take them and hold them accountable in our justice system. And I do want to point out and commend our police force, our chief, everyone past and present, that anytime you hear about a shooting in Boynton Beach, the city of Boynton Beach, almost inevitably you find out who did it, and they got caught in a reasonable amount of time. And that's the best you can ask of law enforcement. When some random person decides to take out vengeance on another person, we can't stop someone who believes they're allowed to murder, but you can hold them accountable in hopes to deter future crimes, because you get caught when you come to Boynton Beach. And I'm proud of that, and I'm proud of our police force for that statistic. Again, I agree with everything everyone said up here. It's on us as a commission to tell staff to budget those funds for additional technology, shot spotter, and so forth. So if that's something that garners majority vote in the next budget session, that's something that we will try to deliver. But I just want to cut some slack that no matter what law enforcement does, some people are beyond control because that type of activity shows they just do not care. They have no regard for human life. And our police force does everything in their capabilities to take them to justice, and that is something to commend. There's always room to improve on every aspect, but I just felt the need to say that.
Any further comments on this announcement?
No, I just like to say I wasn't beating up on you all, but the young man Tory that walked out of here, you know what happened to his brother, and I think he's still dealing with that. And I'm just saying, so I'm not saying that you all are not doing your job, but it's just too much happening, and we're getting the black eye, and I don't like it. That's all I need to close with. I'm not saying you're not doing your job, but what Boynton is getting now, whether it's a bum rap or a good rap or a bad rap, however it happened, we're getting the black eye for this city, and I don't appreciate it. That's my closing comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
All right. Seeing no more announcements, moving on to public audience. Individual speakers will be limited to 3-minute presentations. Please state your name and address for the record before you begin.
Hey, Susan Oyer, 140 Southeast 27th Way. First of all, and I'm sure this is Andrew Mack who's going to have to listen to this, I've driven by this cemetery every time I go home and go to work every day, and I noticed that someone has planted a Norfolk pine, which, as we know, I've complained about in the past. They grow to be about 100 to 200 feet. They're incredibly brittle. They go flying apart in hurricanes. They topple over. Yet somebody has planted one in the cemetery, and it's approaching the height of the podium. So I'm just wondering, and I've also seen a couple bushes that have been planted in the cemetery. So I'm wondering if we're allowed to just randomly plant trees in the cemetery near, where someone we love is buried. And I go ahead and plant the purple jacaranda I want to look at 50 years from now when I'm looking the other direction. So, that's just, I think if we either all get to plant trees that we want to look at in posterity, or, maybe we should remove that Norfolk pine that's a nuisance plant and a couple other bushes. And yes, I do truly feel we need to have massively more trees in the cemetery. It will make it more beautiful. But, let's plant trees on purpose in specific locations that make it look nice, not just random trees here and there, especially not nuisance trees like Norfolk pines. The second thing I want to say is, since it's now public, because Fashion Shops has had stuff put in the Coastal Star, I want to remind everyone that Fashion Shops, after 20 years in my family's buildings on Ocean Avenue, is leaving. So as of March 31st, we will have openings. So the mayor was just commenting how there's not enough retail in Town Square. Well, there's now 6 bays coming open, which we would prefer to keep as 2 bays or 1 person to take over the whole thing. So if you or anyone you know wants a nice Ocean Avenue address in an almost historic building, it's actually Hurricane Alley that's 94 years old, 95 years old, please come see me, and I will put you in touch with my brother, who is actually the one in charge of all this. But please let us know. We have a beautiful space on Ocean Avenue if you are looking to put in some kind of business. Thank you for your time.
Susan, before you go, Mayor, I need to address that about the cemetery. When I served on the cemetery board for this city, that was a policy in place that governed what could and could not be in the cemetery. Trees was forbidden to be planted in there. They need to go back and recheck that policy. I don't know what happened to it. When I was on the cemetery board, we did not do away with it. Certain things was not permissible, and they need to go back and review that policy and address those who's not adhering to that policy. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much for your support.
All right. Thank you.
David Katz, 67 Midwood Lane, our fair city. The city puts up signs throughout the year, Blarney Bash, Pirates Fest, job fairs, all kinds of things. Yet it doesn't put up signs for the fact that we have elections. And I would think it would be great if the city would, at its electronic signs, in the proper areas in the 2 districts that are having elections this year, by Fire Station 3, Ezel Hester Park, put up signs letting the residents know that there is an election on March 17th. Historically, the city has very low turnout. As far back as I can remember, once in District 4, there was a 4% turnout. Usually it's 10 or 12. And I think the city should participate in that manner. They're not being political. They're just letting people know that there's an election. And it's better, really, it's much better than through a website or social media. People drive by those signs all the time. Mr. Pensager has 2 signs up there right now. I'm sure they're looking at them. So I would appreciate if the city commission or staff or Colin, hi Colin, if or the city manager would, initiate putting up signs so the residents in those districts know that there's an election this March. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Jackie Mataragas, Village Royal on the Green, 2620 Northeast First Court, Boynton Beach. I would like to continue the situation of the shooting with Michael Gregory, our chief of police, meaning and our District 2 commissioner, which is Commissioner McCray. Many people have knocked on my door in the last few days, and due to the fact that I am the city. I would like to say that we pay $125,000 a year for protection from the police force, which is fine, and that's a good thing, and we all are very safe in that situation. However, I would like to say, and I see behind me is Mr. Wells. We need a little more of Mr. Wells. That's what we need. And I would like Mr. Wells to come to our, and Commissioner McCray, and the mayor, which they all have, and Mr. Woodrow Hay also, to come to our big meeting, which we have once a month at Village Royal on the Green, and just talk about what's going on here. This is not good. And these people are very scared of the situation, and I'm sorry that that's happening, but they just don't like it. So I don't know how to handle it, and I think Commissioner McCray and Mr. Wells, I think he should be recognized in that situation. That's what we need. We need a little more religion in this situation. And I'm sorry that this is happening the way it is. And Commissioner McCray, I invite you to come very soon. Thank you very much.
Jackie, Jackie, before you go, can you just tell us the date and time?
I beg your pardon?
For the meetings that you invited us to?
The date and time would be, I will figure that out when Commissioner McCray can say that he can come, which will be fine. Once a month we have our meeting, the big meeting, and I will make sure that he or you or Woodrow Hay or whoever is there.
So when is the next big meeting?
He's the chief, chief of police, I'm sorry.
When is the next VRG meeting?
It'll be right after, the Thursday after your meeting here.
So it's the third
I don't
Thursday?
know the date, exactly.
The third Thursday?
Yes.
And do you know what time?
It's at 9:30 a.m.
Okay, thank you. And
Thank
so you have the 2 candidates for...
I beg your pardon?
There's the 2 candidates for District 2 are here, and so one of them is actually Mr. Wright, not Mr. Wells. And so...
No, I mean, I know Woodrow Hay is a candidate, and I know Commissioner McCray. I get that. I understand.
And so they're here to hear what you just said, and I think they will both be there at 9:30 on the third Thursday of this month.
If any changes, I will call you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Make sure you call me and give me an email. Thank you. Email, call.
Yes, sir, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Sarah Williams. I want to first thank you for all of your help and your efforts in making Boynton Beach better and best. And that's what we're all about. I come here this evening to address the issue the project on Northwest 17th Avenue, the medium, your medium project that you are doing over on the area near the Hester Center, and the gateway to the Gulf Stream along Seacrest. We worked so extremely hard to upgrade that area, to bring it to the level of respect, to bring it to the level of a character that is enjoyed and so much appreciated by all the citizens of our community. Now what is happening now, a project is going in and taking out the beautiful plants such as plumbago, I guess some green island, and all the work and efforts and money that was spent to elevate that area with nice palm trees and nice bushy plants, and all of that was a deterrent to all the loitering in the medium. We had loitering, drugs selling, and hanging out with no respect for property, for people, and community. And by all of your efforts that you put in for bringing that medium to the level it is of respect and beautification, we have taken out the plumbago, the green island, some of it, and other plants, and have brought in sod and trinette, little nicky plants, to complement the nice quality palm trees. Now all of that, the shrubbery that was in there, it helped to stop the vagrancy, the loitering, the littering, and people coming and standing in the medium. But now we have put in the sod and the little trinette plants along by the palm trees, and all we're doing is opening this up so that people could come in there and loiter again. So it's a reverse of what we have tried to do in the past.
Thank you for your comment.
I would hope that we would reconsider this landscaping project and not take out, but let's put in, let's add to it. Let's put some plumbago, some flowering plants, so that people, when they see that, it would be a shield to trash coming in and out. Because now I went by there since they did that. I'm sorry.
Okay.
If you take a look, they got cups already, and it's so unsightly and it's readily seen. But when you had the bushes and the plants, it gave a little shield. I'm sorry.
It's almost time.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, because
So you
I
got
could
30
go
seconds.
on. But please reconsider this project.
And Ms. Williams, I want to thank you again for calling me and coming here and letting everyone know of your insight regarding this. Our staff has heard what you said, and we're going to see what works out best. Thank you.
Also, since you told Ms. Williams, thank you, there's Mr. Sonny Garcia is going to be addressing that same issue before she go. I wish that she would stay here to listen and find out what the citizens over there in that district, in that area, Rolling Green, where she's talking about what they said that they wanted, and who spearheaded that project. I'm just saying we need to hear the whole thing before we go ahead and make final comments.
Okay. Yes.
Minister Bernard Wright, 713 Northwest 2nd Street, CEO of Bernard Wright Ministry, Robert E. Will Foundation, and Real Talk Radio. I just want to ask the dais for a bit of grace if anyone would like to contribute to this Robert E. Wills Love Fest coming on the 15th from your community support fund. Y'all have in these last year you didn't, but thank God that we had the money to put it on. I can't use a little funds right now, but we do want to make this great. I would appreciate that. Now, secondly, I want to say that these isolated and these random killings and shootings in my neighborhood that I have, I'm not privy to, but my ears to the ground. And I know most of all, or what a lot of you all don't know of what's going down. And to solve these problems is going to take our community coming together. And there's no other way it's going to be solved because it's a community problem. I'm advocating in that respect, been doing it for 8 years. And I like to say that the police presence that we do have that come on Cherry Hill, and I'm standing on that corner, you know this. You just walk your dog there. We did a radio show there one night on the Monday Q Green show. But at any rate, I love their presence. They getting to know those brothers and sisters that are around there. And I can name some of the officers, but I thank them from the way they conduct themselves. They're not as aggressive as they used to be in the past, by the grace of God. And I can appreciate police presence, especially with different activities and things that we have. What I can't appreciate when we're being supervised as though it's still a plantation, and we need, that kind of overseer by the grace of God. But I'm strictly in favor of law enforcement, having been on the other side of the fence for far so long and too long. But it all has shaped and preserved me in the way that I am for a day and a moment and a time like this, by the grace of God, all having worked together for my good. But I like what Commissioner McCray, that question was good, because we need to find some resolution in some of these cases, by the grace of God, and people held accountable. It's our brothers and sisters and nephews and nieces and cousins and aunties that are out here doing these things, except you're from another city, then you're a foreigner. And we as a community shouldn't allow certain things to come and go down. Even in the game, when I was in the game, we didn't allow certain people, and we didn't allow teenagers and children to come up and just do anything they want to do to think they were the adults. They didn't know the principles of living, by the grace of God. So I'm fully in approval and agreement with what's going on. Thank you, Chief, for the presence that we do have now, and it's not that aggressive type presence, but appreciate that. And we're going to continue to go forth in a prophetic spirit of better. And as we come together as a community, we'll have dialogue one with another, and people won't be scared of their cousins and their brothers with their pants down, and they'll be able to tell them to pull them up, and don't have a problem worrying about what's going to happen to them, because ain't nothing going to happen to them. They walk in faith. But thank y'all. God bless y'all, and y'all enjoy y'all night. And still that invitation for some fun. So, bless God.
Torio up 407, Northeast 17th Avenue. Like a couple of years ago, when Boynton was getting kind of crazy, it was getting kind of a lot of shooting was going on, and me and another brother, we said, man, we got to, and maybe the police ain't doing nothing, or however, ain't nothing getting solved or whatever. Man, we had to do it for the community. So we were like, well, let's try some basketball. And we went out there. I got on Facebook or whatever, and we asked the people to come out. And we started something great. We started something called Peace in the Hood. And that's when times was real dark in Boynton when we started that. And we had it for 48 weeks in a row, non-violence. So the violence did decrease a little bit. But then, when they redo the park, we go to Carolyn Sims, and we keep the same messages going, peace in the hood, because we around each other all the time. So now with the park is open, with the park being open again, with the state of the art, the hills, the cameras, I like the cameras, spot shooters, all that. But now that it's another dark cloud going over Boynton, so we were like, man, we got to get this back, we got to get this thing going. People miss coming out and having gatherings. It's nothing to do in Boynton if you ain't paying for it. And that was on a Wednesday night. You could come out, have a good time, play some basketball. We invited the city out. We invited the police department. We played all of them. But now we're coming back. We went back to get the approval of the city. The city said, okay, it's cool. Now the police department come in and telling us, well, if y'all want to have peace in the hood, you're going to have to pay $300 a week. $300 a week? For what? This not a money event. We don't charge nobody for no event out here. We ain't never made no money off nothing out here. And the park be cleaned up every night, because they just come check it the next morning. We respect that park. That's our park. Y'all built it for us. I thought, got nice cameras, got spot shooters, got neighborhood officers. We got a neighborhood program in our community. We're blessed to have that. You know, Jones and them pull up, people, they respect them. You know, it's just so, that was a major blow to me, you know, because we were going to do Peace in the Hood tomorrow. We get a meeting Friday from the police chief. Not him, but his personnel. Well, if y'all ain't got the green, ain't no event. We're like, wait, this ain't no event, this is a gathering. Well, you ain't have no gathering either. And it's like what happened? Like, when did it start charging? When did we did it for 48 weeks in a row, and we didn't hear about no money being charged. We don't charge nobody in the community to come out and have a good time. We were.
Tori, so I want to help you with this. And so I know that one of it is the $300, and so I have an office account, and I'll make the payment for the $300 for not tomorrow, but for next Wednesday, okay? And so this is something that, we need to have Peace in the Hood. This is, everything that goes involves. I know that, how do I put this?
You didn't have one squabble out there. You didn't have to send no emergency team.
And that's the situation that we're having, is that we're being proactive instead of reactive, because we don't want anything ever to happen to Peace in the Hood. And so that's the reason why we want to be proactive about this. And I want to finish this. Okay. And so the aspect of it is that it takes a lot of money for our police department. That is our biggest budget item for the city. And in order for us to work, this is something that, we need to work with the other nonprofits in our area, the different churches, everybody, and the businesses, because we do want to have food trucks that come by. We do want to have amplified music. And so we want to make this an event, not just a gathering. And so, kind of like how MLK happened, you and I were there together.
Yeah.
And a month ago there was nothing, and then on the day of, everything happened.
Yeah, I love that.
So we can work together to make sure that on next Wednesday we have the police presence and we can build upon that. Does that sound good?
Good with me.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And since we're on that same page, since the park is open, and back to what you were saying, because we said we was going to stop events, and we said that we was going to start back having events, and I appreciate what you're doing, and I'm just saying $300 I'd like to invest in that community when we're paying tax dollars. I'm just saying, and every time we look up, it's a charge for us to have something over there, and the city need to start waiving some of these fees. Lord, I'm going to look at you all. I'm going to be the first one to say, that's $300, if that's what it takes to forget it, to get somebody over there to get us back to start having fun and get rid of some of these violent things that's happening in our city and get polices to be friendly again with the neighbors over there, then I'm going to be the first one to champion and say, let's start back doing what, they've been doing before. If it worked for 48 weeks, I'm quite sure it can continue to work while I'm sitting in office.
Yes, Vice Mayor.
So just for clarification from staff, this reference to the $300 is the cost of hiring the police to do security for a private special event.
Yes, it is. It's, I believe, 3 hours, 2 officers at $50 an hour, so it was $300 each time. And, and the chief may want to comment on this, because he and I had a lengthy discussion last week. It's a new world, and we have just very serious concerns and take the public safety very seriously. All of our events that we do as a city, our security budgets have gone up substantially. You'll notice that with the holiday parade and our July 4th celebration. A much different approach to public safety for the potential of people in large numbers being hurt. So one way or another, we're going to have police protection at that event. So it's either the public taxpayer pays for it or the private group that is putting on the event pays for it. And that, at the end of the day, is a policy decision of the commission. We would need to just budget accordingly or have that discussion in the future.
Yes, Vice Mayor.
So that would be my point, that if it's the wish of the majority of the commission during budget time to allocate funds for this particular event on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, however it may be, that it needs to be done in that appropriate fashion, because we can't just arbitrarily issue waivers to police security for one event, and then if I want to hold an event, I got to pay $300. There needs to be a formal decision made to allocate those funds. I'm not expressing any opposition to it, but we can't just kind of subjectively say we're going to waive fees for this group and not that group, and someone comes in and says, well, you didn't do it for me, so now you're discriminating against whatever my activity was. We just need to do it appropriately if that's the will of the majority during budget time. I commend the mayor for stepping up and trying to get the ball rolling, and I think he pinpointed exactly where these funds likely would need to come from, which is private contributions. And as he pointed out, there are a large number of businesses in the city, let alone the east side, and there are a significant number of churches and religious institutions. And I would urge the Coalition of Clergy, which is an amalgamation of a large number of religious institutions in the heart of Boynton, to step up and also contribute to these efforts. So I commend the mayor for coming out of pocket to help and get the ball rolling. And I think that however he or anyone else can reach out to the Coalition of Clergy, the churches, the businesses, to try to get those monies going, since we're in the middle of a budget year and we didn't allocate for these events. And it can be revisited at the next budget session over the summer if we so choose to fund it on an annual basis and put those tax dollars to this purpose.
Yes, Commissioner McCray.
Thank you. Vice Mayor, I'm going to totally disagree with you, sir. We have brought projects to this commission more times than one, and we have amended the budget, made changes to the budget, and we did not have to wait till the middle of the year to do anything. And I'm just saying, if this is the wish of this commission, we can do anything we want to do to the budget. We amend the budget all the time. And for us to sit up here and tell them to wait till the next budget cycle, sir, that is unacceptable. I'm just saying, when it comes to District 2, it seems like y'all want to say it's a budget problem. It is not a budget problem. We have the monies to do anything we want to do here in Boynton. And I think that's a slap in our face, my face, for sitting up here and to hear you say that we can bring things to the budget during the summer. This is something that we can discuss now. We are the policy makers, but this city and the citizens needs to be recognized for what they want to do here, and staff need to recognize that we make the policies. They follow what we say, sir. We don't have to wait till the middle of the summer to make it. You bring it all the time, said the budget needs to be amended. I'm talking. The city manager, she always come to mind, well, we need to amend the budget for this. We had an increase. We need to amend the budget for that. We had an increase. Okay, one amendment is no different than the other one, sir. That's all I'm saying. This budget can be amended. There's nothing written in stone.
Before we go forward, is that Commissioner McCray, would you like to put on future agenda this item?
Yes, please.
All right. I can have consensus so that we'll have that for next meeting under new business.
We will include all of the data of all of the special events that we have requests for in the city, which is well beyond just this one event. And I'm going to need your policy direction on how you want to handle the numerous other requests we get.
Correct.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor.
And again, I'll applaud the mayor for citing proper procedure. At no point did I say that that was not an option. I just made clear that I have a problem with creating waivers on the fly and not budgeting it. So you are absolutely correct, Commissioner McCray, that if someone puts an item on future agenda items, which we just did, then a majority of this commission could vote, as you said, to amend the budget and allocate those funds, but that needs to happen. It wasn't proffered until a minute ago, and I look forward to that conversation and be happy to support it if it's done appropriately, so that we're not just subjectively waiving fees for this group or this person or that person.
Go on.
All right, we are finished with this public, on to our next public comment. Mr. Garcia.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sonny Garcia. I live at 1631 Northwest 3rd Lane, Boynton Beach, Florida. We have gotten a lot of compliments on the first two mediums, the way they're looking. I know Ms. Sarah Williams has been complaining about this, but a while back, they removed the trees and put palm trees and some hedges there. She complained about that too, because they removed the trees. Now, she doesn't reside there. She has rental property there, so she has no say-so on what goes in the neighborhood, because she don't live there. All she got is rental property. So if people are giving us compliments of the way the mediums are looking, and they're going to look better, I don't see anything why she's complaining about. Now, the mediums are getting redone, and yes, it looks beautiful. And I hope the the other ones get done, and they'll look great. We're trying to make the medium as presentable as possible for people to pass by and see it. Now, when people compliment you on the medium, I thank the people from the city that are working out there doing this work, because they're doing fabulous work. And if you don't believe it, go look at the other mediums, look at the first two mediums, and you'll see the difference. Like I said, Ms. Sarah Williams doesn't live there. She has rental property. She has no say-so. Thank you.
Good evening. I must apologize for my voice because it looked like I'm loosening, but my name is Charles Robinson, and I live 1691 Northwest First Court, Boynton Beach, and I've been there for 43 years. And I think the city, what they have done in the last couple of weeks is marvelous. I love it. And everybody else over there appreciate what the city is doing. They're making our area look like something. They put in new sidewalk that is beautiful. Right by my house, I come out and I see everything that they do. I oversee it. And I'm one that is 100% with the city on how they're making our area look beautiful. Now, the second thing I have to say is this, is that for over a year, I've said to the police department that at the park, they need to have an officer or a car seen at that area on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, because in that area on 17th, it's like being in the Indianapolis 500. They have two-wheelers, three-wheelers, four-wheelers, and cars racing up and down 17th. And the police department is nowhere around. If they see an officer sitting in the park, they're not liable to just crank up their bikes and just ride. So it don't happen. Every once in a while you'll see during the week. We don't need the officers showing during the week. There's no activity. It's on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And we cannot see an officer nowhere. And if you call, you got to give who it is doing this, what color they is, this. Come on. By the time all of this is said and done, it's over with. So I wish the city would see, or the police chief see, that we have some kind of officer present on the weekend. If they're not, they'll just ride by, back and forth every now and then, every 30 or 40 minutes. That would help ours decide where we live at. They'll know that the officers are present. And I thank you.
Thank you.
Let me make final comments in regards to the medium, since I represent that district. I spoke with Andrew Mack, and he said that there's some other vegetation that they will be adding into that medium and some other things that they will be doing to try to help enhance and make everybody satisfied. That's why I didn't want to make comments until the end. So hopefully that the three individuals that's here tonight that's speaking about 17th, they will continue to work together for us to make everybody happy. I know we can't satisfy everybody, but we like to take care of the majority. Thank you.
Thank you. And unless I see some, oh, yes, we have one more public comment.
Greetings, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Barbara Bernardin. My address is 9873 Lawrence Road, Boynton Beach. I came to the meeting this evening knowing that I will only do a small donation, and the topics that were discussed really got my attention. First, I want to thank Mayor for inviting Chief over to discuss all the shootings and all the issues that we've been having in the city. And I also want to thank Police Chief Michael for all the work that you are doing. And I remember when you first joined the Boynton Beach team, you had a meeting somewhere in Boynton, I do not recall the location, where you wanted to get the community's input, involvement on how we can decrease the crime rate in the city. I followed the Boynton Beach police social media page, and I've received a lot of information where they keep people updated because I don't watch television as far as misinformation that they are giving on the news. I wouldn't know that. And they really keep people informed and trying to get information from residents of Boynton Beach to know how they can decrease the crime rate. Mr. Torrey, who spoke about the Peace in the Hood event that he has every weekend, I believe as a city, if we are trying to find a solution for the problem, and Mr. Torrey had mentioned that ever since he started the event, the crime rate has decreased, which I don't know. If it is in fact true, then I do not understand why we would not find a way to support his work, because it's not only him benefiting from this, from the event, it's the city as a whole. And whether we think it's a parental concern or it's another community concern, if you live in the city of Boynton Beach, whether it's corporated or incorporated, then that should be a concern. We should find a solution. And if it is in fact helping, I want to thank you, Mayor, for finding a way to add this to the next agenda. And I hope that the city will find a way to support this event or this great work this man is doing, if it is in fact decreasing the rate in the city. And Mayor, last time I came to the meeting, there was something on the agenda about the library. You had mentioned a book that you went to borrow and you could not find it. I was able to get you a copy. I don't know if you already got a copy, and if you already have one, you can add it to your collection.
Thank you. No, the library got another copy, and so I was able to check it out. I was able to speak about the book with my wife, and we're doing very well, and we're very excited for our new baby coming this March.
Awesome. So you can add it to your collection, because really I got it for you, and hoping Mrs. Britt will benefit from it as well.
It didn't cost over $100, did it?
Was that the last public audience?
Yes.
All right. Administrative. Approve the request of Commissioner McCray to distribute 1,000 of his community support funds to Connect to Greatness Incorporated.
You missed administrative, although it's none. I just wanted to be mentioned that administrative, number 5.
What did I say?
We went on to, go ahead, you're right. I just didn't turn my...
It's good when I don't mess up, yeah. So, may I have a motion, please?
So moved.
I second that.
All right. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none.
Hold on, I think somebody's here to speak on that.
I'd also like to give $200 of my community support funds as well. Can I have a motion for that?
Move.
Second.
All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Did Cassandra leave? No, she's here. All right. It's time to come up. You just got $1,200.
Cassandra Corbin Thaddeus, President of Connect to Greatness. I'm actually going to defer my thank yous to my beneficiaries and allow them to thank the Commission. Thank you, Commissioner McCray. Thank you, Mayor. And I'll allow the boys to talk.
Hello, everybody. My name is Bryce Webb. I'm 13 years old. I attend school at Don Estridge High Tech Middle School in Boca Raton. And I would like to say thank you for all your support with this program. This program has really encouraged me and guided me to become a more proficient public speaker. It also has provided me like a safe space so I could come and professionally dialogue all my problems with like trusted adults, people who like listen and then give me advice right back.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jaden Jasmine. I'm 14 years old. I go to Carver Middle School. I'm in 8th grade. I want to say thank you to you guys for donating the money to this group. This group has helped me a lot. This group has helped me and friends with life learning skills such as financial causes, and I just thank you for your support. I appreciate it. God bless you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Corey Brown, and I go to Don Estridge, same school as Bryce. I thank you for supporting C2G. This program has helped me a lot throughout my life for the past 3 years. It has helped me make lifetime decisions that help me to make better decisions with my life, and in school especially, become more successful and make better grades. Thank you.
My name is Andre Thaddeus. I'm the Vice President of Connect to Greatness. Thank you. I have a little bit of a cold, but I'm okay. Commissioner McCray, really appreciate you. Mayor, from day one, when we first started this 3.5 years ago, and these young men were 6th graders, now they're about to graduate middle school. We started off with original 10 young men as 6th graders. Now there are 10 of them are 8th graders, and we have now a total of 23 students, young black males, that we meet on Thursday nights at the Carolyn Sim Centers. The majority of our students, not only do they excel in school academically, they're also a big part of their community, the city of Boynton. Connect to Greatness is also now in South Tech Preparatory Academy. We meet with those students weekly. We're in South Tech High School. We meet with those schools. And as of 2 weeks ago, we're going to start with Galaxy Elementary, helping the 5th grade students read to get ready for this FSA. And all of our young men that you see behind me, not only did they excel at the FSA, they all received the total score of 5s on their 7th grade test. So we definitely couldn't have done this without the support of the city of Boynton Beach. And I do remember today, Chief Gregory, when they saw you, he was blessed. He blessed us with the opportunity of bringing all of our students to his office, temporary office, and they remember that. So after we were talking to him today, they feel excited that they can go up to a police chief and shake his hand. So that's our efforts to deter the crime. So those are the things that we're trying to do. We don't have all the answers. We don't know how to keep people safe. We just know how to deal with the young men that we deal with on a daily and weekly basis. So that's our part. And that's your part of your support for us to help them. And just one last thing, I never talked this long. I was blessed last week. I represented actually the city of Boynton Beach. I was in Washington, D.C. on Capitol Hill Day. And so I was able to speak with our Lois Frankel and not the senators, they were a little busy, but all of our representatives. So we were able to talk about the programming specifically in Boynton Beach, about the mentoring and the support and things that, the good things that are going well here in Boynton, and some things that can be supported here. So that was a big highlight of my career, to be able to speak with United Way on behalf of City of Boynton, if you will. My application will be there soon for you guys. So we would like to say thank you, and I'll turn it back over to Cassandra.
I just wanted to add what these funds are going to be earmarked for, if I could. So we started I think in October, we did a little fundraiser to kick off our, what we call our Greatness 2024 Scholarship Fund. And so our big dream is to have $100,000 in a scholarship fund for the cohort that will be graduating in 2024, so that we can grant them scholarships. So these funds will go into our scholarship fund to continue to grow that. Right now we have $3,395.95. So that we'll add that $1,200 to that, so it'll continue to add to that. So I really want to thank you and appreciate your efforts in supporting what we're doing and our boys in their future.
Commissioner McCray.
Thank you. I want to say to the adult leaders, I want to tell you all thank you. I did not jump on board when you all first came to the city because I wanted to see really what you all was all about. Now that I've seen what you're all about, although the mayor's been given little at a time.
Correct.
I think $1,000, I think I kind of topped him. But anyway, I want to go ahead and say something to the three young men, if they can just come back up to the podium. I just want to say to you all, thank you. You all are an inspiration to me. Your voices, your speech, superb. Keep doing what you're doing. Shoot for the stars. You hit outer space, young men. Proud of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor.
I just want to say one more thing.
Yes.
Like, all of this wouldn't be possible without the support of my mom over there. Like, she stays on me about my schoolwork, make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing in all my classes. She helped me attain all 5s last year on the FSA, so thank you.
Cassandra, we're not, Vice Mayor, you had comments?
Yeah, just
Cassandra, we're not done.
Thank you all for what you do. I know that there's a member of the teachers union named Cartier Scott who works with your organization, and he brought you guys through, and it was amazing to have you guys come to the teachers union and talk to local and state educators about what you think needs to be improved in the school system. So in amazement at how much you guys are getting around and how much positive stuff you're doing, and obviously to the parents involved, you guys are an integral part in making them successful, so I commend you as well. Just thank you guys for what you do.
I want to ask
Cassandra. Yep, go ahead.
Mr. Thaddeus, I think I saw on TV that you all supposed to be doing something in March. Was that did I see it right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. The police chief, sir, the police chief have to wait. You got a commissioner up front.
He got that thing right here.
Now, what I want to ask you is for you to get a plug for what you're going to be doing next month. I saw it on TV.
Okay.
Okay, right?
I'm a little lost right now.
Well, anyway, I seen a lot of guys, I think that was around you, but anyway, if you're lost, stay lost. But anyway, whatever is going to happen next month, continue doing what you're doing. It'll come to you.
Okay, I will definitely do that.
All right.
I know I said.
And so, Cassandra and Andre, I just want to thank you for giving back so much time to the city of Boynton Beach and to our youths. This is just amazing to think how far you've come. And it's, I remember our first conversation where he's like, what can we, do to help? And we worked and we're moving forward, and it's just so proud. And I also wanted to mention, you forgot the mothers, correct? You do something as well for the mothers?
Yes, we have. So we do have a Boys to Men Leadership Academy, which is where our boys, but Bryce's mom, Miss Denise, has been part of the program for 3 years as well in our Women of Boys Empowerment Program. And we support our moms to become advocates and leaders in the community as well. So we are together every week doing the work that we're doing with our youth. We also are doing it with our moms, because it's important that we also take care of ourselves and continue to grow.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
the March event, I think, is the Honda Classic you're referring to?
Thank you.
The Honda Classic.
For the March. And then next week, we have been chosen as the charity of the month for the community cultural yoga event that's happening in West Palm Beach. So it's open to the public, and all the funds that day will go to to Connect to Greatness. It's $10.
Well, please let the city know about that event. We'd be happy to attend if we can.
Yay. All right.
you.
Super. Awesome. Thank you.
And see you at the Honda Classic.
Yes. All right. Our next item is appoint eligible members of the community to serve in vacant positions on city advisory boards. I do not believe we have any applicants, but I will list all the different boards that are available. The Building Board of Adjustments and Appeals, the Education Youth Advisory Board, Historic Resources Preservation Board, Library Board, Senior Advisory Board. And last is by consensus, allow Commissioner Pritzker to participate on the Boynton Beach Opportunity Zones Task Force as city representative. I agree.
Motion to approve. I agree.
All right. We got 3 agrees. Congratulations. We look forward to hearing from you of all your great opportunities that you've accomplished.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to consent agenda. Item D has been removed to new business. We have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. New business. Proposed resolution number 20-015, designated canvassing board for the March 2020 municipal election. Do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Proposed resolution number 20-013, establishing the goal of 0 traffic fatalities on the City of Boynton Beach roadways, adopting Vision Zero as a policy for road and traffic safety for the city, and providing for an effective date.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, everybody. My name is Rebecca Harvey. I'm the Sustainability Coordinator for the city. Vision Zero is, as the name suggests, a vision. It's a vision that nobody will be killed or seriously injured on our roadways. It's also a sort of toolbox of strategies and principles that are holistically focused on a number of components, including engineering, public engagement, political leadership, and enforcement. While this resolution that we're considering this evening is new, the concepts and many of the programs that it encapsulates are not new. In fact, they align with ongoing priorities and plans of the city. Vision Zero aligns with our climate action plan, our sustainability goals, because if you make our streets safer for bikes and pedestrians, we can help bring down our greenhouse gas emissions. It also aligns with our strategic plan, specifically the Transportation and Mobility Planning Initiative within. Not sure how to advance the slides. John, can you help me? The right foot. Am I pointing at the wrong place? Because I'm pointing it at the screen. It's the right one. That's the right one. Thanks, John. Okay, well, the next slide is like a really depressing picture of a car crash. So I'll just read it. From 2011 to 2017 in the county, there were more than 1,000 fatalities and about 7,200 severe injuries from car crashes. Next slide. One of the starting points of the Vision Zero idea is to recognize that these crashes are actually preventable. And in fact, fatal and serious injuries share a number of factors in common. They tend to occur on roadways with 6 or more lanes with speed limits of 45 miles per hour or higher. 40% of these crashes occur during non-daylight hours and are often associated with speeding and aggressive driving. In fact, Palm Beach County is the 3rd in Florida in aggressive driving. Go back, I'm not done, sorry. The visual here below, when staff and I went to a Vision Zero workshop back in December, this was the one thing they said: if you don't remember anything else from this workshop, remember this. So I'll say the same to you all. The top line there, it's a statistic that if a person is hit by a vehicle traveling at 20 miles per hour, they have a 9 out of 10 chance of survival. If that speed increases to 40, if it doubles to 40, that flips, and a person would have only 1 in 10 chance of survival. Next slide. Vision Zero is really a paradigm shift. It is a shift in our thinking, a fundamental way of how we think about traffic crashes and fatalities. So from the traditional approach, thinking, kind of assuming an inevitability to traffic deaths, Vision Zero understands that traffic deaths are preventable, and the language we use is really key here. We no longer say accident, we say crash, because accident infers that there's it's inevitable. It's also a shift from an assumption of perfect human behavior to integrating human failing into the approach, of from preventing collisions to focusing on preventing the fatal and severe crashes, a shift from individual responsibility to a systems approach, and a shift from thinking that this is very expensive to understanding it doesn't always have to be. Some of the solutions are actually inexpensive. Next slide, please. So the National Vision Zero Network has a number of guidelines, and they've developed this list of core elements for Vision Zero communities, and these are divided in 3 categories. The first is leadership and commitment. So what we are doing this evening, considering the resolution, that's core element number 1, public high-level ongoing commitment. The other elements are authentic engagement with a focus on social equity, strategic planning, and I'll talk a little more about that in a moment, and project delivery, so integrating this into our ongoing projects in the city. This next slide, please. The second core category of core elements is safe roadways and safe speeds. This is really the core of the Vision Zero approach, and the most impactful way that the city will see this policy is in our upcoming projects. So the design of new projects will integrate a complete streets approach, which we're already working on, and context-appropriate speeds. So engineers in the city will take these Vision Zero aspects into consideration when designing our roadways and our pedestrian improvements. And then finally, the last category is data-driven approach, transparency, accountability, again with a focus on equity and prioritizing the investments in traditionally underserved communities. Next slide, last slide. So our Palm Beach County Transportation Planning Agency adopted a Vision Zero action plan last year, and also a number of local cities, a few local cities, I should say, West Palm Beach, Fort Lauderdale, Tampa, and Hillsborough County, maybe a couple others. So these can serve as models and templates for us to develop and adopt our own Vision Zero action plan going forward. So the next steps from here is we ask that you consider the resolution tonight to adopt a Vision Zero as a goal for the city and to implement these strategies. Our next step would be to develop a task force, a team of stakeholders involving law enforcement, involving the health and medical community, other public-private partners, and to also look at our baseline data and understand the patterns of traffic fatalities, serious injuries in the city, and develop our action plan. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll take questions if you have any.
Commissioner McCray.
My first question to you is the zero tolerance plan. I'm just saying, did you all meet with the chief and get data and information, I'm just saying, for the city of Boynton?
To my knowledge, we have not yet. I'm up here tonight, but we had several staff across departments go to the workshop, including engineering and planning. So that was one of the things we said we would do as a first step. I don't know that it's been done yet.
All right, let me ask, who from engineering and who from planning was on your team?
At the workshop, Mike Rumpf, the director, who I believe is here. Mike, you're here, right? Saw you coming. Yeah, Mike was there, and Craig Pinder, our new planner, was also there from planning, and Paola Mendoza was there representing engineering, and I believe that's all. Myself.
Okay, Okay, thank you. I'm in favor of this, but I'm just saying, when something comes to us like this, I just want to make sure everybody who's supposed to be on board is on board. I know it's new, but I like for everybody, I like to know who's participating. I'm for it, but I like to know who the participants are at the beginning, so when it comes down to the end, it won't be no surprises. Answer my question.
I understand, sir. Thanks.
Thank you. And so, one of the aspects of this resolution is to have that conversation with our planning and engineering staff, with the police department, so that both people look at the statistics, because we have these two departments under the one umbrella of the city of Boynton Beach, but they may not be communicating with each other. And so I'm very happy about this moving forward. Last night, as I was driving home from Seacrest, I saw that there was a high-speed collision, T-bone, and so that was one of the things that I feel that we need to do is get the data so that we can petition for the lowering of speed limits on the roads that are not owned by the city. For example, Seacrest is owned by the county, who also owns Congress, and areas outside of the interchanges with 95, and the state of Florida owns US 1. You know, I'd like to see that the speed limit between Woolbright and Boynton Beach Boulevard move down to 35 miles per hour, because all it is a residential neighborhood with a school zone, and there's no reason that people needs to go that extra 5 miles per hour when it's endangering lives. And so I'm hoping the task is that we can look at the data, start with that area, and so that we have a baseline to see what exactly we want to do with our Vision Zero policy.
Exactly.
All right.
Understand.
Does that sound good with everyone? We have a motion to approve.
Move.
Do I have a second? Thank you. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Moving on to legal. Jim?
Ordinance 20003, an ordinance of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 18, Article 4, Pension for Firefighters, amending Section 18180 to increase the maximum benefit cap beginning in 2020, amending Section 18182G to align the death benefit with accrued benefit, amending Section 18182I of the City Code to implement the conclusive cancer presumption established by Section 112.1816 Florida statutes and the rebuttable disease presumptions under Section 112.18, 112.818, 181, and 175.231 Florida statutes, creating Section 18194 to provide for a uniform drop benefit for newly hired firefighters, renumbering Sections 18-222 as Section 18194 to govern drop benefits for grandfathered members, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for severability for repealer, and providing an effective date.
All right. May I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Is there any discussion from the board? Seeing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Vice Mayor Katz.
Yes.
Commissioner McCray.
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos is absent. Commissioner Pincirga.
Yes.
Mayor Grant.
Yes.
Vote is 4-0.
All right. As for a future agenda, we included a discussion of community safety with starting a task force and advisory board. And
Mayor, do you want that on the next agenda or list it as a future, and for what future date? Or just as an actual agenda item?
the aspect of it is that I think we need to have that start the conversation on the 18th because
Okay.
that's our next meeting,
Put it under new business.
and that way we can understand what's going on.
Same thing with the special event fees.
Yep.
Put that on as new business.
Yes, please. Yes.
It's technically not future agenda items, but I'm going to request at the next commission meeting to donate my $2,000 community support funds to continue supporting the Boynton Beach Rugby Football Club. They're doing amazing things. They're playing in tournaments, sending kids to all-star games throughout the state of Florida, winning competitions down in Fort Lauderdale. I ran into the coach who again, him and his staff take no money, take no compensation whatsoever. He literally bought a passenger van as his primary car so that he can help transport some of his players because he's a teacher and he does rugby right after school, and some of these kids, a lot of these kids just don't have the means to get transported, and so he's putting a lot of personal skin in the game, and it's a great thing for the city, and I'm going to put that on next meeting to contribute my $2,000 to the Boynton Beach Rugby Football Club.
All right. I think you just need to fill out the form, or
Wait.
yeah.
Before you go, and I have a thing will be coming next month at next meeting from Point Santa Elementary School. Since the AP is here, I'm just saying you all did not give the information, but I received the information today from the safety patrols, and that's where I'm going to gear my funds to the safety patrols at Point Santa Elementary School.
All right.
I was a patrolman many years ago. A good one too.
I would request the vice principal as well to give us some more information regarding your talent show on the 21st. So make sure that you give that to Eleanor so we can help promote it. And now it's ready. We can't adjourn yet because we still got the closed door.
That's right, Mayor, and I need to announce the individuals who will be in attendance. You've already read the announcement regarding the purpose of the closed door. In attendance will be the city manager, the members of the city commission, Assistant City Attorney Tracy DiCarlo, Assistant City Attorney Gal Batesh, and myself. When we conclude that,
We have to come back up
regular
here.
meeting will then be ready for adjournment.
Okay.